Hello, and welcome to Money Matters. My name is Mike DePuppo with the Devon Financial Group in King of Prussia, and my co-host this evening and good friend is Dan Morris, and Dan is with Morris Capital Advisors and Manor Investment Funds. Dan, welcome again to Money Matters. Our guest this evening, Joel DeLuca, is an author of a book called Political Savvy. Now, everybody can take that in different contexts, but I think this gentleman has the key ideas is how individuals in major corporations and organizations can utilize ethical political savvy to grow in the corporation and really make things happen for the good of the company, the good of themselves. And I think that that's so important because so many people are specialists in their own field, and all they want to do is work in their own field, and they're limiting their tremendous potential. I believe I have that correct, but he's going to correct me if I'm wrong. Man has a tremendous background, which we'll go into later on. Let me just turn to Joel DeLuca because this is fascinating. Joel has such a background. I just want to mention that. But by the way, welcome to Money Matters.
Thank you.
I think the background's going to take until the end of the show to read. But just one of the things I want to mention, you've been involved as a manager over the last 22 years in several different organizations. You have an MBA, a Ph.D. from Yale in organizational behavior, professor at Wharton, and currently executive coach and consultant to organizations, as well as being a captain in the Air Force. I know that well. Great. Thank you for coming. And let me just ask you, Joel, given your personal experience as a manager in several organizations and your studies on the topic itself, do you see any relationship between organizational politics and profitability?
Yes. It would be hard to nail down from a research point of view, and that hasn't been done, but in the organizations that I've worked in and the studies that we've done on organization politics, the more negative the politics in the organization, the tendency to be less profitable. Because the turf battles that, particularly in changing times, that with scarce resources to use to make things happen, people who think they're doing the right thing battle internally and compete inside and eat up a lot of the organization's money going forward, rather than having it invested or in their manufacturing or service provided to customers.
It seems almost that there's a two-pronged aspect to this. One is that an organization that promotes political savvy among their employees can be more profitable, but also could be a better place to work. Is that the case?
Yes, because political savvy goes more along the lines with the grain of human nature. And so it's much more of a person to person rather than role to role. I mean, in some organizations, you've got a job with a role, and another person in the other function has a job with a role. And you talk role to role. What you really want to do, politically savvy people tend to do, what they do naturally is they try to talk to the person in the role rather than to the role. Because if you're in role, you have to give, if you're head of finance, you have to give the organization's official response. If you can talk to the person, like in journalism, they know between on the record and off the record, you can kind of get their tendencies off the record, and they can feel safe that this will not be used in some kind of sense that somebody said something against organizational policy that